and bring this government down and do it fast. That's what we need. Australia used to be like that with America. We were America's deputy sheriff.
And I'm calling time on it.
We were like that with America. We share the same values. We share the same goals. We share the same strengths and power. We sit there and look at Donald Trump and compare that to this insignificant little character who won't even front up to a meeting, who can't even get a phone call with Donald Trump. That's what we have. We have one of the worst governments we've ever had.
The worst Prime Minister ever.
We are being crippled by net zero.
I think everyone would say that.
And all Susan Lee could come out with and say was,
let me introduce my alter ego, Tina Lena Turner. And this is worth a fair bit of cash.
And instead they see this silly person.
The next change of government will come about with a party that opposes net zero, because net zero is destroying this country, it's destroying our prosperity, it's destroying our economy, it's destroying investment, it's destroying the future that our kids deserve, it's destroying jobs.
It's just not fair.
All on a fantasy, some silly fantasy about
Alan Joyce
being a renewable superpower because of green hydrogen, which doesn't even exist. We need a warrior to attack the net zero house of cards and bring this government down and do it fast. That's what we need, Chris. And I didn't hear one word that gave me any confidence that the Liberal Party are going to do that.
But only if I took Tina to Parliament House.
I watched Susan Lee today and I was waiting for some solid comment about, we'll turn our back on net zero and we're not going to bankrupt the country and force everyone to have transmission lines ploughed through their farms. You heard none of that. I didn't hear a mention of the word immigration at all, anywhere. And even cost of living didn't really seem to bother her.
When things need doing out in the Riverina, we just get it done.
There are so many problems facing this nation. It's probably not it's a rather dispiriting idea that yesterday or the day before we had the E-Safety Commissioner, Julian Munn-Grant, in there at the National Press Club. This was woke central. It was hard to distinguish actually between Susan Lee and Julian Munn-Grant for any opposition to the current woke zeitgeist.
To really minimise the amount of content the Australians can see.
The one thing Susan Lee didn't do, I sat there and listened to all this hand-wringing stuff about, we're so terrible at the Liberal Party, we lost, and we lost this seat, and we lost that seat, and we lost so many votes, woe is me, woe is me. Didn't want to hear that. What I wanted to hear was that one single answer. Why?
Allow me to use Parliament.
In September and October of last year, only 6 or 7 months ago, was the Liberal Party riding well ahead of Labor in the polls, standing ready to win the election. Why? Between the Voice, which the Liberal Party won in a 61-39 majority, unheard of. Everyone said it would go the other way. How did they lose the momentum from that to losing the election?
It is beyond my comprehension.
And Susan Lee was a key part of the decision-making processes. Every decision taken between, August, September, October of last year, this time last year even, when they were riding high in the opinion polls, looking at a landslide victory potentially, but certainly a victory, what were the decisions she took and with Peter Dutton and the team that led to that disastrous hand-wringing, losing everything around them, losing everything? What were the decisions they took? And I'll tell you, one of them was when they refused to get
Mr. Albanese
behind Donald Trump, when they refused to pull out of the Paris Agreement, when Peter Dutton didn't jump on the plane the day after Donald Trump was elected and said, we're right with you, mate. We're here. We're your famous allies. We're your great mates. We'll do whatever it needs to make this world a better place. That's what we didn't see. All the decisions, Steve, that were taken, that Susan Lee was a party of. She doesn't need a group to sit around. She doesn't need PowerPoint presentations and research focus groups to tell them what went wrong. I can tell them what went wrong.
Absolutely.
You can tell them what went wrong. There's people in every pub in Australia can tell them exactly what went wrong. And the reason it went wrong is because they did not stick to hardcore values, liberal, conservative values that the people of Australia wanted and demanded and need now.
Rowan, absolutely, and it's going to be a very long 3 years.
This Prime Minister that we have, I am so frustrated with him, as the majority of Australians are. He is weak, he is gutless, and I hope that people
bring this government down and do it fast. That's what we need.